Okay. It will already give some multiplicity. Okay, so you can see here. So it is given multiplicity for each thing. Okay, so it says the multiplicity is 4. The next one it says the multiplicity is 8. Okay, so the first one, which is your titanium, for titanium multiplicity is 4, for oxygen multiplicity is 8. Okay, so now occupancy, if you want to write occupancy is nothing but somewhere I will write. Okay, where is it? Ritual. Okay, okay, here. So multiplicity is given by the relation. So right here. Okay. Oh, sorry. The occupancy. Okay. So insert. Then I go here. Occupancy. Okay. If I want to say occupancy, it is nothing but it is the ratio of the multiplicity, okay, of multiplicity of the site, okay, and divided by general multiplicity. Okay, multi. I'll just write multi. So now if I take for titanium, it is 4 by 32, and if I take for oxygen, it is 8 by 32. Okay, so this is how you can calculate the occupancy. So if I use this, let me check what is the value. 1 by 32, it gives 0.125, and then if I do this, it is double of that, so it will be uh, 0.25. Okay, so these are the values that we have plugged in here. So if you check, if you see here, this is the value 0.125 and 0.25. So this is how actually, if you are a real, if you want to do more crystallography, this is how you have to calculate the occupancy. Okay, so you take the multiplicity of your element or the site, and then divide it by general multiplicity. Okay, so this will be there. So I will share this with you guys. So I think this is how you can calculate the multiplicity. Okay, so you have any other question?
Yes, sir. May I read the next question?
Yes.
From Arun K. Sir, can you explain how to calculate space group and lattice parameters of entirely new compound?
Entirely new compound. Okay. So direct space method. So maybe I'll check one quickly one. So for example, let us see, take the example of cerium oxide, which we did just some time back. Because it is cubic, so it is easy for explaining. So I'll take cerium oxide. Okay, this is not the right format. Okay. Okay, so this is my X-ray diffraction method, the diffraction. So what you normally do is there's something called as indexing. Okay, so for this you need to do, you need to go for those methods what I explained in the beginning. Okay, so I think not in this case. Okay, I think in the PowerPoint or okay, so in this case, I explained this indexing, right? So you have to do this kind of indexing. So maybe I will provide you a separate step-by-step guide, because I can do it, but it will take some time. So you have to just, what you're supposed to do is you have to go to this select points, and then it is a little bit time consuming. So if you want, I can send you that later. Okay, so is it fine?
Okay, sir. Sir, may I read the next question?
You
Hello, sir. Hello.
Hello.
Sir,
You, uh, yes, you can read the next question.
from Shabna M, can we get the errors in the lattice parameters at XYZ positions?
Yes, you can get that in your dot. So I have not refined here. If I refine it, then what happens? It will give some error values inside the bracket. Okay. So let me see. Maybe I have refined the ABC values. Okay. No, I think I can just do it again. Okay. So if I put some. So if you're refining, I think it should be there already. I don't know. This is what the sum. I think I'll open another one. So in your out file, you will already have all those information. Uh, Out or some file. I will check some file. Okay. So if you refine these things, then what happens is this will already give some errors in the bracket. Okay. Here you can see here with respect to cell parameter, it has already done this. This is the error. So you are already having very less error. So it is all up to eighth. Sorry, up to the fifth decimal. So there is no much error. So these things you can see in your sum file. So if I again refine this Z parameters, then it will put the error in this bracket. So whatever you get in the bracket, that is your error bar. Okay. So for BISO, you can get error. You can also give error for your lattice parameter. So this is already there. Okay. So for C, you can see this slightly higher. Higher in the sense, this is when you report, what you do is you have to give only up to third decimal point. Don't give more than 3 decimal points. Okay. So after third decimal point, so he in this case 4 is the error because this is more than 3.5. So it is 4 is the error. In this case, it is close to 1. So 1 is the error. So this is how you can get the error bar in calculating your lattice parameters.
Okay, sir, can I move to next question?
Okay, yes, madam.
From Ammo Vijay, if I have 4 set of samples by varying dopant concentration, do we have to have the same value of chi for all these if we have to compare? Do we have to follow same order for refinement for all samples?
It depends. See, because if you are doping, sometimes what happens, you may increase the crystallinity. Sometimes you may increase amorphous, like it can go more less crystalline. So yeah, if you are increasing the crystallinity, then your chi square can go better sometimes. Okay, and if you have a lot of strain in the samples due to doping, then what happens when you go from pure phase to doped phase, as you increase the doping, your chi-square is going to increase. So it depends on your what you're doping and all those things. So this everything will have some kind of information, but you should know how to interpret those things. Okay.
Okay, sir. Next question from Dr. M. Sharavana Kumar. How to analyze single crystal XRD?
Single crystal XRD, one thing what you can do is you can just crush it and make a powder XRD, and then follow the same ways what you did here. Okay. So other way is you if you're collecting a single crystal data, normally what they do, they will provide you line form like this. Okay. Apart from spots. Okay. So normally what you get in a single crystal is you're using different detector. Okay. So CCD detector you are going to use. So when you have a CCD detector, it will give spots, not the this kind of peaks. So what normally the person who is collecting data, they will process the data, the spots, and they will convert that spots into this kind of line data. Okay. Or if you're good in crystallography, you can directly do the what is it, space charge or Fourier transform of your dots, and you can try to solve it, but it is very complicated compared to powder diffraction. Okay, so in that case, what is a good way is you can just convert those spots into this kind of data, and then you can try to do with indexing or by profile matching, phase matching. Okay, if it is already reported, if your sample is already reported, you can do phase matching. If not, some person asked me how to solve from scratch. So that is by indexing, by using TQual or ITR. So those kind of software is like algorithms you have to do before to get your ABC and symmetry. Okay, so in that case, it will be like a little bit longer steps. Okay, madam, you can go for next question.
Okay, sir. The final question is from Dr. K. Mahesh Kumar. Is the process the same for the mixture of organic and inorganic samples in multi-phase system?
Yes, this is the same, but only thing is your the crystallinity of your organic samples will be less, very less compared to inorganic. So sometimes what happens is when you're trying to dope some, do some composite of organic and inorganic, the signal of your inorganic may be so much that your organic would be somewhere in the background. That means the peak from organic would be very, very small. But if your organic sample is also crystalline, then you can just do this kind of reticle refinement, and you can do the quantification.
Okay, sir. I think the questions are over.
Okay, so I think if there is no more question, we can stop, I think.
Okay, sir. Sir, the chat box, the participants are appreciating your hard work and sincere presentation. We know it's
Thank you, thank you.
we know it's very difficult to handle a hands-on session through this